In this lesson, you will multiply a polynomial by a monomial and solve equations involving the products of monomials and polynomials. So, what I'm going to show you are two different methods for multiplying, and then you can pick the one you want to use. So the vertical method is going up and down, and what you're going to do is take what's in parentheses and write it across the top like this. And then you are going to take this negative 3x squared, and you're going to put it down here in the multiplication spot, like the old-fashioned multiplication algorithm. So you're going to multiply here, and then your diagonal, and then over here. So what you're going to do is negative 3x squared times a positive 4, which would be negative 12x squared. We have negative 3x squared times negative x, so that would be a positive 3x to the third. And then we have negative 3x squared times a positive 7x squared, so that's negative 21x to the fourth. And then as you can see, you have everything then in the right order, which is standard order. Now, horizontal method is just working with this set of terms, and you're going to use distributive property. So you're going to take negative 3x squared times 7, which is negative 21x to the fourth, and then you go here, negative 3x squared times negative x, which would be positive 3x to the third, and then you go then to the last term, which would be negative 12x to the second. So this is vertical, this is horizontal. The last method I'm going to show you is called boxes, and this is something you're going to see me use quite a bit throughout this chapter. What I do is I write this term at the top, and then I create boxes. And now what I do is I'm going to multiply in each box. So negative 3 times here is 21x to the fourth. This is going to be a negative, by the way. Positive 3x to the third. And then I have a negative 12x squared. So then you would write it across from left to right. So negative 21x to the fourth plus 3x to the third minus 12x squared. So try the example in your notes of multiplying a polynomial by a monomial, example 1, and you can choose one of the three methods. Like this one is called vertical, so you're working up and down. This is horizontal, so you're working left to right, and then this is what I called boxes, so you're doing the boxes in each one. Now, example 2 is simplifying expressions. So what you're going to do is you're going to use one of those methods, and then we're going to then put together what goes together. And I'm going to choose to use the horizontal method, which we call distributive property. So we're going to do 2p times negative 4p squared, so that's negative 8p to the third. 2p times this 5p, so that's plus 10p squared. And then this is all that we have that we distribute to, because that's only the parenthesis there. So then we will take negative 5 times this 2, which is negative 10p to the second, and then negative 5 times this 20, which is negative 100. Now when you look from left to right, you can look to see if any like terms are there. And as you can see, we have 2p squareds. So we're going to combine those. So we get negative 8p to the third minus 100, because we have this is a positive, this is a negative. They would cancel each other out because they're both p squareds. So you try the simplifying in your notes. The example 3 is a real-world problem, and the theme for the school dance is solid gold, and Lauren is covering this trapezoid-shaped piece of paper with metallic gold paper to look like a bar of gold. And as you can see, this height is going to be 18 inches, and I want to know how much paper she's going to need. So what we need to know is the area formula for this trapezoid, and then we'll plug some values in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you kind of work out what you can in your notes, and we'll talk about this real-world problem in class tomorrow. The last thing that I want you to do today is solving a problem when you have some simplifying on both sides. So we're going to use the horizontal method, which is also known as distributive property. So 2a times 5a is 10a to the second. 2a times negative 2 is negative 4a. Now I'm going to stop there because that's where the parenthesis ends, and then I move on to this next term. 3a times 2a is positive 6a to the second. 3a times 6 is positive 18a. And then I have plus 8. I'm going to go ahead and do all of my distributing on the right side as well. So a times 4a is 4a to the second. A times 1 is just a. I stop there and then I move on to this 2a. So it's 2a times 6a, which is 12a squared. 2a times negative 4 is negative 8a plus 50. Your second step then is to simplify or collect your like terms. So as you can see, I have a 10a squared here and a 6a squared here. That makes 16a squared. I have a negative 4a, a positive 18a, so that's positive 14a. And then I have a plus 8. Over on this side, we start with our a squareds, and we have 4 and 12, so that's 16a squared. And this is a positive a minus aa, so that's minus 7a. So I'll cross out the ones I've used, and then I have this plus 50. Now that we have it simplified, that's what I call having your boat packed. Now we can start working to go left to right. So I'm going to subtract 16a squared from both sides. And as you can see, that cancels out that a squared term. We don't have to worry about it. Now we have 14a plus 8 is equal to negative 7a plus 50. My goal is to get a on one side and the number on the other. So I'm going to actually add this 7a so that I have all of my a's over here. This is 21a plus 8 equals 50. Now I'm going to subtract my 8, subtract 8, and I get 21a is equal to 42. The last thing we would do is divide then by 21, and we get a is equal to 2. So you should be able, from a situation like this, to get to one solution. So try the example in your notes.